In 1984, a small, aging boarding house stood at the edge of a quiet town in Oregon. It wasn't famous, nor luxurious. It was the kind of place travelers stayed for one night and forgot the next morning. But among its 32 rooms, there was one that no guest forgot. Room 27. Everyone who stayed in that room disappeared. The first disappearance happened on June 14, 1984. A traveling salesman named Harold Chambers checked in, exhausted from a long drive. He paid for one night, requested a wake-up call, and carried only one suitcase. The next morning, the housekeeper knocked on his door. No answer. The door was locked from the inside. When the boarding house owner, Mrs. Ellington, opened it with the master key, Harold's suitcase was there. His wallet was there. His shoes, watch, clothes, all neatly placed. But Harold was gone, not missing. Gone, as if he had vanished into thin air. The police searched the entire building. No forced entry. No signs of struggle. No blood, no fingerprints. They eventually left with no answers. The boarding house reopened a month later. Mrs. Ellington needed the income, so she began renting the room again. Then it happened again, and again. Every few months, a new guest rented room 27, stayed for one night, and vanished before sunrise. Each case was identical. Door locked from the inside. All belongings left behind. No sign of escape. No trace of the missing person. By 1987, 6 guests had disappeared from the same room. Local police called the building a dead zone. The neighbors whispered that the place was cursed, but Mrs. Ellington refused to close it. She said, "The room isn't the problem. People are." No one understood what she meant. The last disappearance happened in December 1991. A college student named Maya Torres booked the room while traveling home for Christmas. Maya called her parents at 8:47 p.m., telling them the room felt strange, like someone else was inside. Her mother told her to leave immediately, but Maya said she was too tired to drive. The next morning, once again, Maya was gone, but this time, the room was different. Inside, the bed cover was pulled halfway to the floor. A lamp was knocked over, and on the mirror, written in what seemed like dust, "Not alone." This was the only physical clue ever found in room 27. Maya's disappearance became the 7th and final unsolved case in the boarding house. In 1993, the city ordered the boarding house to shut down due to structural damage. Workers came to inspect the building. When they inspected room 27, they noticed something strange. The floor sounded hollow. They removed the wooden boards, and what they found ended 9 years of mystery. Beneath the floor was a hidden crawl space, large enough to fit a person. Inside it were 7 sets of clothing, a small notebook, a rusted metal hook, and the skeletal remains of one single man, not the victims. The killer. Mrs. Ellington's son, who had gone missing in 1983. According to the notebook, he had been living underneath the floor, sneaking out during the night through a secret maintenance tunnel that connected to the basement. He wrote, "The ones who stay above me keep me company. They don't scream if I take them fast." It became clear he had been pulling guests through a loose floor panel when they slept, dragging them into the darkness below. At some point, the killer himself had died in the crawl space, possibly trapped. The victims, however, were never found. The tunnel collapsed years earlier. What happened to the missing guests remains unknown. Room 27 was permanently sealed. The boarding house was demolished, and the city quietly erased the case from public records. Today, only one thing remains: the mirror that once hung inside the room, stored in the town archive, still stained with the faint words, "Not alone."